Hello and welcome to What You Drinkin', where we review two hopefully delicious craft beers each week before recording a fresh new episode of the Ginger and the Beard podcast. I'm AJ, aka The Ginger.
And I'm Reese, aka The Beard. And I'm excited to hear what you drinking tonight, sir.
Got something I think that you would be interested in. I've had this actually in my beer fridge for a little while now, which I realized I just left my fridge open. That's just blasphemous. How dare I?
Form of beer abuse.
Yeah, exactly. This, sir, is a Loop Lil Belgian Tripel from Pale Fire Brewing Company.
Okay.
I actually forgot to look and see. Oh, Harrisonburg, Virginia. Very close to my, well, not super close, but close to my hometown of Buena Vista, Virginia. So I would say fairly local. I feel like I consider basically anything in Virginia like drinking local. I don't know how you feel. But I like supporting Virginia breweries, considering we both live in Virginia. So anyways, yeah, man, Belgian Tripel. This is kind of usually up your alley, I feel like. But I'm excited to try this one out. I actually have had this one for a couple of weeks, and it's time. It's time we crack into this. So it sounds interesting. Like, you know, I'm typically, give me the hops, give me the bitter, and I'll be happy. But this one sounds a little bit out of my comfort zone in that it's more, you know, the triples, which you've had a quad on recently, and we talked a little bit about like what makes a quad versus a triple versus a double, and like all these different like Belgian explanations.
Yeah. And
like doing some research on the style and trying to figure out like what to expect here. It sounds like it's going to be a lot more spicy in the sense of like, you know, floral sort of notes and citrus and things like that. Right. Coriander, that kind of spice, not hot, even though it does have a flame on it.
Yeah.
There's no peppers or anything in this.
Three times the pilsner malt makes it a triple. Makes it a triple.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to crack this open really quick, but while I'm pouring this, yeah, I looked that up because I remember you talking about that. Like it actually did equate to the amount of X ingredient, which happens to be malts, right?
Right.
And you know, reading some different articles, it seems like some breweries today don't necessarily hold true to that formula, I guess, even though that was the originating like description or, you know, factor. But let's go ahead and pour this out really quick.
Did they not stick to that?
For this one, I don't know for sure. I couldn't really find. Oh. Take it easy there. Oh boy,
that's a nice color.
Look at that. Right to the rim. It is a very, very nice golden color.
It's very inviting. Amber. That's like it's like amber color right there.
Yeah, a lot of very nice aromas coming off of this one.
Some prehistoric mosquitoes trapped in there.
It does kind of look like that. Yeah, really nice color there. Definitely not opaque by any means. Lots of bubblies. But yeah, so I don't know for a fact if this one particularly they, you know, stayed true to that sort of description. But, you know, what I did find was that, you know, the monasteries in which they used to brew these sorts of beers, they would use X's on the barrels to signify how strong a particular beer is. So obviously there'd be 1X for something a little lighter, and then 3 X's would signify like a triple. And that seems to be like where that term came from.
18 and over.
Oh, hey now.
Watch out. Better stay out of that barrel.
In a monastery.
Oh, no.
But this is a 8.5% ABV. It's they describe it as having flavors of orange peel and coriander, so that should be interesting. Brewed with Saaz, I'm assuming that's how you pronounce it, Saaz, Saaz and Northern Brewer hops, and of course pilsner malts, a lot of aromatic malts. So on the nose here, I'm not picking up a whole lot of anything, to be honest with you. I think all I really pick up is the maltiness, and it's very faint at that. I will say I did mow my grass today, and it's like early in the spring season. I don't know. There might be some allergy reaction happening here. Maybe my senses are a little bit dulled. I don't know, but not a lot going on off the nose here. So let's go ahead and give it a sip. You can see the nice thick foam head that's just hanging out there, not going anywhere. Looks really nice. Wow, that's very pleasant. Very nice.
Oh, nice.
I mean, it's lighter bodied, but like also like a very like rich mouthfeel. Like I don't want to say creamy. It's not like a cream sort of stout or anything like that, but just a like very I'm having a hard time describing it, but it's kind of like coating the inside of my mouth a little bit. It's just a very pleasant feeling in there. The malt characteristic is what I pick up the most, obviously, and I'm not sure that shouldn't be of any surprise given the fact that it's a triple. And I mean, I would believe this has triple the amount of malts because it definitely is coming forward for me. Orange peel, maybe a little bit. I think I pick up a little bit on that on the aftertaste. But I'm gonna go ahead and give it another sip here and see if I can search for that just a little bit more.
That makes sense to me. Usually I get like some kind of fruity flavors when I have triples. One thing, like most of the triples that I have are a lot lighter than that. That they're not amber. They're usually like paler, a lot paler.
Yeah, and again, I think a lot of this is due in part with the camera, because on my end it is a very pale color.
Okay.
Not quite as light as like you'd get from like a Bud Light or something like that, but closer to that spectrum than probably what you're seeing. A little bit more saturated from the GoPro that I'm using for the camera here. But
gotcha.
Yeah, that orange peel does kind of sneak through a little bit there after I let it just kind of sit there in my mouth for a minute. I'm not sure if I've honestly ever eaten coriander on anything. So I don't know if I'm picking up on that, but there is like a very small, like spicy sort of note to it. Not quite as like present as I was expecting it to be based on like some of the descriptions and things like that I was reading about. Like typically again with this style, the triple style is exactly what you just mentioned, lighter in color, higher ABV, this is an 8.5%, that full mouthfeel. But also, even though in the higher alcohol range, not really that alcoholic bite that you would expect, not like you got from your like 16%er 2 weeks ago, or was it last week? And then of course they talk about those like spicy and fruity floral characteristics, which this one, again, it could be my senses, it could be the ragweed in my nose or whatever it is. But I'm not picking up a lot on that spiciness. But overall, man, like if you're looking for something malt forward, that's just very, I mean, I think you used the word inviting. It's like a very inviting flavor. It's easygoing. If you're looking for a refreshing break from the stronger, hoppier beers, like the triple IPAs as opposed to the Belgian triples, then this is a very nice change of pace. And I actually really enjoy this. And I think some people kind of just now today kind of equate IPAs with, heavy ABV. If you're looking for something that's a little stronger, you might turn towards the IPAs. But this does prove there are other quality beers. If you can't handle or not fond of those hops and that strong bitter characteristic, you can turn towards something like the Belgian Tripel. And still get that high ABV, but with something a little bit more easygoing. So very nice brew here. Great job, Pale Fire. Hopefully one day I can make it back down towards Harrisonburg and check you guys out, pay you a visit.
Man,
that's awesome. That's it for me, man. What are you drinking this fine evening?
Well, sir, I'm very excited to hear about your triple experience. Hopefully, this opens you up to more triples or more Belgium style beers. So very exciting to hear. I have here Magic Beans Coffee Porter from Smuttlabs. Smuttlabs. Have you ever heard of Smuttlabs?
No.
Have you ever heard of Smuttynose?
I don't think so.
Okay. Smuttynose, Smuttlabs. I was so confused because I've heard of Smuttynose before, but I've never heard of Smuttlabs. And I guess Smuttlabs is just another brewery owned by Smuttynose. So yeah, I was a bit confused there, but this is Magic Beans Coffee Porter. Super excited about this, and I can't wait because, like, dude, I'm so tired right now. I was chopping down a tree yesterday, and I was chopping down the same tree today, and my arms are just tired from sawing back and forth and using an axe, and I could use some
all
coffee.
that manly stuff.
All that manly stuff. You see this plaid shirt behind me? Oh yeah, I was wearing that.
Got to. Have to.
Yeah, dude, for sure. So Yeah, this has some coffee in it. I definitely need it. 6% ABV, 30 IBUs. So certainly, with porters are usually a little bit more bitter. I prefer stouts, but I'm going to make an exception here. It's fine. Because usually when it's a coffee porter, the coffee, right? Like we talked about this before. I've had coffee porters, and the coffee kind of like counteracts the hops bitterness. And I'm like, this is it. This is what I need. So yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
So I'm gonna just read straight from their website. They got two short little informational paragraphs here. So legend has it, Smuttlabs head brewer Charlie traded his black lab Willie to a mysterious stranger one foggy morning in exchange for a load of magic coffee beans. He then took those beans and brewed a coffee porter which sprouted into a deep, dark, delicious monster we affectionately call Magic Beans Coffee Porter. This is very exciting. Of course, Willie ran away from the stranger and made his way back to the brew house for yum time. Okay. The story ends happily ever after. Smuttlabs Magic Beans Coffee Porter employs a local dark roasted coffee beans, giving the beer a rich mouth feel with subtle notes of chocolate and fruit. The result is a flavor that's pure magic. Well, I'm now drooling. I can't wait to get some of this. A lot of like beer makers don't really post, I feel like the malts and hops and yeast and everything, but these guys did. So they got a bunch of different malts. They have 2-row Munich 1, crisp C60, crisp chocolate, and Cara Munich 2. Their hops, and I believe you've had these hops before, Willamette.
Yeah, Willamette, yeah.
Willamette. And then yeast is Chico. I want to learn more about that. And then it says Mojo, magical dark roast coffee beans with New Hampshire's own New Hampshire coffee roasters. So I guess they're out of New Hampshire. Anyway, that was exciting. That was a nice little tidbit from their website. That's a nice backstory. Yeah. So let's go ahead and give it a pour. See what we get out of this.
Looks like a nice can design too.
Yeah, I'll hold up the can again after I pour this. Not getting a lot of head. It's very dark, but not as dark as I had expected. The head came out pretty good. It's a nice tan color. Actually, a little bit lighter than I expected from a coffee stout as well. I'd say it's like a sandy type of color, khaki, sandy, certainly lighter than I was expecting. It's certainly opaque, but as I was pouring it, I realized that the beer wasn't as dark as it wasn't like oil can dark like I'm used to from porters. So, whatever that tells you. The head's fairly uniform, couple larger bubbles spread throughout, but mostly all small. So that tells you that, right? That tells you that the process was clean, right? Yeah, clean.
Yeah.
They did a good job. Here's the can.
Oh man, that looks awesome.
Let me just get it right there. We go.
Oh,
you can see he's
nice.
That's pretty cool.
Nice,
right?
foil label. That's awesome.
Yeah, dude.
Smuttlabs.
Boom.
That's dope.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool can. I like it. Let's give it a sip. Actually, let's give it a sniff. Ooh, that smells delicious. Actually, I actually can, right off the bat, I can actually smell coffee.
Nice.
I can smell coffee beans. Oh, this is rare. Usually,
gonna pump you right up.
Yeah, usually you don't smell the coffee right up like this. Yeah, coffee beans and malt. Kind of like a sweet kind of malt to it. So, let's give it a sip. Okay. Wow. It's like they poured coffee in this. Seriously.
Maybe
that is like, it's like coffee. It's like, actually when I was pouring it out, it looked like I was pouring coffee. You know how coffee, like when you're pouring it out, it's like, it's brown and you can like see right through the stream as it's coming out.
Yeah.
it actually looked like coffee when I was pouring it out. So maybe they did put some like actual coffee in this. This is very interesting. So yeah, a lot of coffee just like right up the front, just like smacks you in the face. And it's still, the aftertaste is coffee. Like it's only 6% ABV. So like I'm not even really getting a whole lot of alcohol out of this. Bitterness just now, like the bitterness on the back end just hit me. And that bitterness isn't like coffee bitterness. That tastes like hops bitterness. Or that feels like hops bitterness. Hold on.
Yeah, I was going to say, a lot of these coffee porters and stuff that we've been tasting, it seems almost like they're using the coffee as like the bittering agent as opposed to like what you'd get from hops.
Yeah. Yeah, so it's like coffee bitterness on the front end, but the aftertaste is certainly like a hops type of bitterness.
Yeah.
And, you know, so definitely coffee up front. I'm getting like a little bit of like a chocolatey type of malty flavor out of it, and that's it, man. That's all I'm really getting out of this. But it's for as hoppy as it is, not hoppy, but as bitter as it is, with like the two different types of bitterness that I'm getting, which is weird. I actually don't mind it. So yeah,
Nice.
this is good, man. I like this. I feel awake now. I'm ready to go. Let's go.
That's awesome, man. I've like really been into porters and stouts this year, and like coffee porters and stouts have been my jam. I will say I had a Guinness coffee. What was it called?
You said it was a nitro and
nitro coffee
cold
stout.
brew, right? Cold brew.
Yeah, that's it. Now, how do you remember that? I don't remember. Nitro cold brew coffee stout last night.
Oh, well,
yeah,
it's because
dude.
it's Guinness. I mean, what do you expect, right?
Yeah. Coming from something like what you're drinking, that's like full bodied and like has everything you're looking for, and like actually you can feel it in your mouth, and then you like go to Guinness and it's like, did I drink anything? Like, what was that?
Right.
So,
yeah, Guinness is like water. It's like the water of stouts.
Yeah.
You know?
I can 100% agree with that.
Once you have a Smuttynose, you can't go back to a Guinness. It's like drinking water.
No, definitely not. Well, that's awesome, man. I'm glad you're jazzed up. I'm glad you're ready to go, because I think we're going to be transitioning now into our full-blown podcast. So thank you all out there for watching this week's What You Drinkin'. Make sure you check out the other craft beer reviews on our channel here on YouTube, and head over to Instagram to keep up with what we're drinking on a daily basis.
That's right. And of course, subscribe to the Ginger and the Beard podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Google Podcasts, or wherever you get your favorite podcasts. See you guys in the next video. Peace.